Hello, hello. This is Guillaume. This is Stop Losing, Start Trading. How to trade ETH options at all-time highs. Um, Very exciting days. I'm joined with Rosalie here, aka Crypto Queen. Um, we discuss the markets. We discuss trades. We give advice to everyone. The intern sometimes listens to us, but nothing we say is financial advice. It's just us kind of reading the markets, trying to see how we can use panoptics options more generally as part of strategies. Yeah, how are you doing, Rosalie, today?
Good. Yeah. I can't believe it. ETH has finally hit an all-time high. It feels like I'm living in a fever dream. But
Oh, I don't know if it's really there yet. Maybe during the live stream. I think the all-time high might be 4,800.
oh, dang it. See, I am living in a fever dream.
I mean, yeah. Wait, can we see what it is? All-time high. Yes, 4878.
Okay. Okay.
Four
Well,
eight seven eight.
as soon as it gets there, I will be finally breaking even, and I'm really excited.
Oh, you bought the very top.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, yeah.
This is what happens at all-time highs. Everyone should be making money. No one, I guess, is holding ETH at a discount on the current price. I doubt anyone still. Maybe if they did hold some coins from all-time highs 2 or 3 years ago, maybe they repurchased. So the cost basis is down. Almost say that everyone is making money now, which is a great feeling to have. Uh, and we can have a quick look at the charts, which is also very interesting because the chart is relentless on the ETH side because it seems like it's been going up only over the past few days, few weeks, I guess. But the last 7 days is you don't see this often, but it's really going up to the right. Nothing is stopping this train. Uh, if you go down even 1 month or 3 months, it's also quite drastic how it was. I mean, a month and a half ago, almost less, it was 2,500. Now it's 4,500. Um, it's hard to trade. We've spoke with some of our kind of those that are doing this professionally. When you're a market maker, there's opportunities in every market, but this explosion of price is a bit risky. So you may not even want to be directional because you never know what's going to happen. Um, we'll discuss how to trade there and how kind of intern maybe can take advantage of this. But given the all-time high, how do you feel about the next few days or few weeks if you were to predict or anticipate the market?
Yeah, I think it'll probably, if it does reach a new all-time high, keep going up a little bit and then kind of like go back down and find a new range. But you never know. It's so hard to predict. But I don't know. I think it's been pretty steady, steadily growing, but it's also been quite range bound for such a long time, like the last 3 years, and so I don't know why it would all of a sudden just keep going now.
I mean, does the micro sailor trade, but on ETH, that is pushing, maybe on crypto Twitter, we see this a lot, but that might be pushing the price. I don't know how sustainable this is, but if there's a company that buys ETH with the sole goal of never selling, and you have 10 companies doing this, I can imagine this pushes the price up.
Hmm.
Um, and it was indeed kind of stable for a while, again, around the 3,500 price for maybe 2 weeks, but now it seems to be going up. So who knows what happens in the background. I always say that I expect the price to go up and be stable, and I have to admit I've been burnt a little bit, which is a few days ago. I said, all right, we're going to be around 4K for a little bit longer, or 4,200, but I got burned. Price went up. My straddle went in the money. Still made money. And the key point is that if you have some ETH in your account, ETH going up makes you money. But if you have a straddle or a short call, you make less money. You are forced to sell again at the lower price. It is what it is. But the close to the all time high now, I would say that it might be range bound for a little bit longer than a week. Who knows? But
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, there's a trade for everything. So we'll
yeah,
we'll
so
see.
we'll try to see how intern manages this price. I want to look at Bitcoin too because uh, It's been going up quite a bit too, also near the all-time highs. It used to be the driver of love of this, but then with the recent price action on ETH, the ratio has changed. You're a big believer of Bitcoin always going up in price. How do you feel about that chart? Which is pretty good, but with a week. Uh,
Yeah. No, I think this looks really, really great. I think it's harder to change the price of Bitcoin, right? So you need like so many new buyers in order to actually make an indent in the price. So I think this is a pretty big move if you consider that.
Yeah, and it's true. I think I mean MicroStrategy and MicroSailor, I think also was what pushed the price up over the past 2 or 3 months. We might be seeing something, but it's quite true. At this point, Bitcoin doesn't do much, and it's like it's not changing. There's no big event. The current administration makes it bullish for crypto, so overall more people will buy. But selling, there needs to be a very bad news. Could be macro, could be something else. But I do agree with you that Bitcoin price going up is very bullish because it's hard to make it move. So even though it seems that it's going up only 5% over the past week, it's still a big feat.
Yeah, I know today, after Stop Losing, Start Trading, we'll have a researcher from PokPok on our live stream. And I know one of the topics he wanted to talk about is the lowest, like all-time lows in volatility for Bitcoin and what that means for options. And yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
curious kind of how,
this is
yeah.
like the we see this in again. We can talk about this, but equities when we see the S&P 500 at all-time highs, economy seems to be going great. The volatility collapses, and it's a double-edged sword because when it's at the lowest and you hit all-time highs, the only place it can go is down and explosion of volatility. So uh, both of those signals, maybe in TradFi, means that you have to be careful with trading, especially if you're selling. Maybe in the Bitcoin world, the options or equity side is the option side is not as well developed. But I would also see this as a interesting. We'll talk probably about ETH, but ETH volatility has been steady and even increasing a bit. But yes, Bitcoin all time high, low vol, a little bit of a warning flag for me, especially on the sell side of options.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
There's a, I mean, there's a known like you may want to buy options when it's all time high. It's going to be a bit more profitable, and the violence of the move typically is on the downside. So you buy puts maybe, but this is less attractive when the price going up. So there's always like a whole different dynamics at play when you're all time high, low vol. You can be like that for years, or you can see a reversion very quickly. Anyways, this is kind of what vol tells us. Everything is green too, and I haven't been paying attention to a lot of like altcoins or maybe other protocols. But is there one maybe quick coin you want to look at to see the charts or?
I mean, yeah, the ones I follow mostly are XRP, Chainlink, Doge. Although Doge is always like leaving me really frustrated. But
That's the thing. I think people said that Elon was going to use all of his AI chips to mine Doge. Uh,
he was gonna use it to like pay for government funding stuff as well, and then he just changes his mind every day, and then I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's right. But actually, Chainlink is pretty interesting. I've seen a lot of good things about Chainlink to on Twitter, but also more generally in TradFi. It's a coin you can trade on Panoptic, of course, but on Uniswap, it's very DeFi native. Uh, Only on Panoptic you can look at the IV actually. But yes, the price has also been maybe not all time highs, but also going up quite
Mhm.
well. Actually, yeah, we can segue this into, and it's been holding its ratio. Maybe you're going up with ETH, so it's not as if ETH is driving and everybody else going down. It seems like Chaining has had some increase, and yeah, why not? Let's look at the implied volatility and some of the options focused data from Chainlink. Again, you can only get this on Panoptic, and actually, let me share this tab. So on the markets page, which is where we can see all the different markets, what I like to do is, of course, there's the current IVs. You have ETH, BTC, the ratio. They all have the IVs. This is what we show. It's actually a good signal for trading options. Um, Very interestingly, we also see the this is BTC USDC. The IV is quite low, 32%. This is boomer territory almost in terms of IV, but the ETH BTC, the ratio ETH BTC is higher volatility, and this is telling you that there might be a decoupling where ETH's IV being so high with a quite low ETH BTC, you have some juicy potential returns here. One thing we can do is to look at Link as a token. Even though there's not options traded, we can also get a lot of information about the market itself. And let's sort by TVL. But yes, there's one pool, Link ETH, 118 million of TVL. Uh, People have deployed that pool but not traded options, but that's fine. When we look at this, and let me see, yeah, this looks nice. The IV is 84%, and percentile 88%, and rank is 60. So
Okay.
the IV itself, if you look at the number, it's not clear, but if you look at the IV percentile and every range, every rank above 50 is a juicy opportunity for selling options. It's also not hitting all time high, but going up and high IV is a different dynamic. What do you think about either the IV that we're seeing here or the market on Chainlink?
Yeah, I think this is probably the first thing I noticed is the liquidity is distributed quite nicely there. People are actively moving it in range. I mean, some of it is out of range, but I think yeah, this is a great time to sell options. I'm a big fan of Chainlink as a company in general, so I'm very hopeful that this is just going to continue kind of going up. Especially correlated to ETH. So I would
Yeah. So some alpha will
sell
have
some.
some vaults infrastructure as well being launched, and one thing that will launch is these accumulator vaults. And the key point is that you say, I'm gonna buy some Link at a discount, and if you look at the price, I'm happy to pay 10% less, and you effectively sell a put option. You have the ability to earn yield, and you can buy it at quite a big discount if it moves the right way. And that's going to be one of the things that if you want to attract liquidity on those that are bullish on a coin, having them be selling put options is the best way to express this, but will make it quite easy to digest and trade with these vaults. Very excited about this as well.
Yeah, me too. No
All right.
more so
Yes.
much to do for these trades. I mean, it feels like Panoptic is a really easy interface for me to use, but I know it's still challenging for newcomers because we have so many features and there's a lot going on.
And we can
Yeah,
automate some of this, make it easier for people to also get onboarded. You don't have to know if you're bullish, you have the trades, but also you have to know how to size and do it properly. Okay, I've lost the intern, but yeah, this is good. Let me go back to the interns portfolio.
Mm,
While it's
nice.
loading, we see it's $400 going up. We actually fixed a small issue. Sorry about people that were relying on that chart here. It was slightly wrong before. Apologies for that. It was not accurately tracking the PNL, the value over time. Now it is, which is a great thing. So now when the price goes up and your positions PNL are positive, then it shows a bit more clearly. Uh, can I show this a bit easier? Yeah. So what we're seeing is that mostly driven by the price of ETH going up, the value of our portfolio has gone up. $400 of open P&L. And now this
Nice.
is kind of a we deposited 10K. Intern had 10K to begin with. So in a weird way, round tripping from whatever was 4,000 earlier this year back to 1,500, now back up. We're in the profit zone. So this is how options also work. You never know what's going to happen, but if you are consistent, now we are able to make money overall in the portfolio, even though we went to different markets, different things. What I want to show is this is the markets page. $400 of profits. Is there one market you want to look at first in this table here?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I think we closed a lot of positions, so I'd love to just look at the USDC ETH market and then maybe, yeah, open some new
Yes.
positions.
So $400 of PNL, already most of it in that one position. This is one where we closed and made secret profits on one position closed a hedging trade, which was a covered call, but at the end of the day, made money on both. This is a new position that has not been touched in 21 days. Very bullish, riding the price action of ETH going up. Um,
Nice. Yeah, this is really fun. Call spread. Yeah, we're still in range there, so kind of can milk it a little longer. But yeah, we are close to that top
yeah,
there.
so this is very directional. We paid a little bit of premium, but as you can see, one of the long leg is out of range. So I also agree with writing this because even if the price doesn't move or goes back and forth, we'll earn fees, and at the same time, the current break even, if you want, is uh, 3,800 or 2,900.
That's
So
where we'll start paying fees again if
or it'll start losing. We'll
okay.
pay fee a bit higher than that. So 4,072. So
Okay.
I also think we should keep it on printing money in a way because uh, we're collecting fees, and even if the price moves back and forth, if it stays above 4K, we will be collecting. So as soon as we reach, and it's might be crazy, but if we reach 5,200, great outcome, greatest one. We made money, we got paid, and we have exited. We should exit that position. But yeah, this is actually a very good one. Maybe we can jump right back into maybe adding a new position. You can
Yeah.
think about this one being somewhat positive. Hold it for a few more days, it's fine. But if we were to trade a new position, given the price action, and again, this is the liquidity on Panoptic. It's prices move, liquidity hasn't moved as quickly, so we can imagine that we will collect a lot more fees by per unit of liquidity if we're deploying new liquidity. So that is how the IV goes back. But yeah, are you still
Interesting.
bullish, neutral to bullish? How do you feel about the price action over the next 2 3 weeks?
I'm yeah, I'm still fairly bullish. Maybe bullish to neutral, but I'm really curious here with there's such a big chunk of liquidity um
Yeah,
out of range. Like maybe there's some free options we could buy.
definitely. And this is great thinking. The option that's been out of range is a weekly option. It might be similar to what we had earlier because we can buy this for free, get some uh, added other legs. We buy a put, sell another put, get some level of upside, and yeah, depending on how we want to tune this, we can have maybe a monthly trade here, which is going to be maybe almost exactly what we had earlier. Uh, but this position will be limited loss, maybe capped profit, but we can kind of use this as a free protection. So we limit loss. We have the same upside if we had just the put here. So this is good. Um, Price going down will make us lose, but then the max of depending on how big we want to be. But yeah, it could be $1,000, and we can make 600. Um, how do you
Okay,
feel?
is there
Yeah,
yeah, is there a way to kind of change that a little bit so we could start making money earlier?
yeah. So the one thing we need to look is the max loss. So here, depending on how we shape this, max loss is something we can control by changing this, and the max profit is another one as well. But if we were to deploy something now, we would be earning fees immediately and not paying anything. Um,
Yeah, that this trade might look good.
and we would stop making money if you want above 6,000. That is quite bullish, but who knows when we hit all time highs how it's going to go. But that could also be a good trade to do as well. Um, it's quite bullish. We do own some ETH, and this is bullish, so we are definitely capitalizing on that market still going up. At some point, we're going to hit a ceiling, maybe, but I'm okay also with having this be a trade. Sizing appropriately is the best way as well. I would not hedge immediately, but maybe later this week we'll see how the market goes. But if we were to do this, this is one position we can have. Again, copy paste from the YouTube comments, but this would be that position.
Great. Yeah, no, I think that looks good. We're still milking the other position as well and see kind of what will happen in the next week or so. And yeah, maybe
Yeah.
get some delta neutral positions as well.
Yeah, exactly. We can imagine that if we're now, I would be also worried and not necessarily comfortable, but what we've been doing quite a bit was these strangles.
Hmm.
Uh, and depending on how offsetted we are, yes, we can get some wins. But again, given what we're in this euphoric state, I'd be more worried with the price going way, way past this. So we would probably be on the higher risk side, having the potential loss. Again, you can have it printing to 7K
You
overnight.
think so? I feel like it's not going to just keep going and going and going. I think like people want to make profits now because like especially I
So
mean,
the
I'm not
all-time
going to
high will
sell,
be,
but
yes.
yeah, I think people have been, kind of waiting for this for the last couple of years and so now it's like the time to
I mean,
sell.
and yeah, maybe again we could explore this different trade, which is a bit similar. We can sell the exact same strike here and have 6,000 be the max, but now we have some um, risk on the upside. But the benefit is that you get paid twice as much risk reward. If you and yeah, that could be another one that intern could do, which is pure volatility harvest play. Price going up by up to 5K means that we would be at the max profit. And then we can earn fees the whole time. And maybe we'll have intern choose, but that could also be another trade. Um, Again, this is a the bread and this is what I did. Maybe that's me getting PTSD, but this is what I did last week, and it moved past. I think my break even was probably 5,200s, but given that I'm negative delta territory, it makes me a bit skittish. But yes,
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, maybe we'll see what lands on the best and worst weekly trades last week. These delta neutral positions were
that
both
trade
the
me.
best and the worst.
That's
So
right. Intern may retake the best trade too, because that one was pretty good. The one we closed earlier, but in this one too. So since we're here, let's do one quick trade on the. Do you want to do the ratio ETH
yeah,
BTC
yeah.
or yes? Okay, we closed the trade also at a profit. This was a bullish trade, and the ratio going up helped us. We see there's some liquidity here, but in your case, given the ratio, and we can look at where the past. If you zoom out, we're
Wow.
back to almost where we were at the March, February, March, or even like January level. Nice recovery on the price, the ratio, or whatever. I mean, but what is your gut feeling about the ratio now? Is ETH
I
going to continue to outperform BTC, stay the same, or maybe a reversal, and Bitcoin will hit 150K?
Oh my god, could you imagine? That would be nice. I think it's gonna probably ETH is probably gonna continue to outperform it a little bit, and then it might kind of stay kind of the same for a little
Yeah.
while.
Okay. If you look at since launched, we launched Panoptic in December. Oh, no, we pre-launched earlier. But if we launched in December, the ratio was 0.04. Now we're 0.039. So we're
Mm,
now all time. I mean, the yearly high. So I could also imagine that the same psychological level, maybe for those that contain both, may be limiting the profits. Uh, we did sell a put last time,
mhm.
and that's a nice way to be neutral to bullish, depending on how we set it up. Uh, are you comfortable with this, or even more bullish, or maybe neutral if we were to trade the position?
No, I think I'm comfortable with this as long as there's also kind of some if it does go revert a little bit that we can still kind of not start losing yet.
Yeah, and if we look at if this is a 30 delta put, whenever we set a put option, 30 delta is a good ballpark,
Yeah.
uh, risk reward wise, because you have some upside but then less downside. The lowest range would be 0.028, and I always like to look at where how far back we have to go, even though it seems small. This was a month ago, so you can erase a month worth of gains, and now you'll be in maybe danger territory. But if you keep this range and go up. You would be making so um, up to you. Do are you comfortable with some of that risk on the downside of it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely for this week. Maybe yeah. What about weekly options?
Yeah, we could do weekly, and we can also add a call too, and then we can have like a more smoother payoff. But the weekly will be a bit more concentrated. I think. Yeah, this is someone else that created a weekly option earlier. Uh, the 30 delta is about this. It's a little bit less attractive because the weekly have maybe less potential, but then you earn more fees. If you want to be directional, then you definitely have to manage this within 5 to 6 days. Uh, that's another one, another trade we could do as well.
Yeah, I think I'm interested in doing some weekly trades as well.
Okay. And remember I mean, this is now a bit more advanced, but the time scale that we choose assumes a 50% IV. The IV was, I think, 40% here on the ratio, and if it were Bitcoin, was 35%. So, technically, even though we say it's a week, it could be 2 weeks almost because of the repressed volatility.
Okay. Yeah.
So, might be good as well in a week from now. We can even be kind of in range. So, I would also maybe consider a 30 delta.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a bullish trade. The now break even or the lowest side is where we were a week ago, about 0.03, but it's still good. And yeah, we can have this be one of the other strategy that will be explored by intern again. Not financial advice, but if you're bullish on the ratio and you are expecting the trading fees to accumulate and be kind of heightened, given that the IV is high, then this is a good trade to have. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this is just an LP position in Uniswap, anyways, right? So something everybody's very familiar with.
yeah. It's interesting too because this is ETH BTC, and now the numeraire or the quote asset is not USDC because it's not part of this. Most pools we use ETH as the quote asset as well, ETH Chainlink, for instance. But here this one because people are used to the ratio, it's BTC that's the quote asset. So in theory, this position will make you accumulate more Bitcoin, and you would have what are stack sats. But you have to think of this as a Bitcoin accumulating trade, as opposed to a ETH. So the ETH is the varying asset, and Bitcoin is the constant one, if you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind accumulating more Bitcoin.
No,
So
exactly. Both of them are good. The price goes up. Both of them make money. But as a LP position, you also have to know, okay, which of the two assets am I looking to accumulate more, or maybe I'm worried if I get too much of. So that's going to depend on you. That's going to help set up that type of trade.
yeah, definitely. I think yeah, this is really exciting. Hopefully, intern will listen to our advice. We are right here on the 30-minute, half
Yes.
an hour dot. So I think it's time to welcome Kevin from PokPok,
I know
who is
Kevin
going
is
to.
dropped out, so we'll have to wait or maybe ping him. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
he was
Yeah,
here
no
earlier.
worries. Let
Yeah,
me
pop, pop. So
message him.
we will probably do a few more of those where we have multiple and people that we invite. They have a different point of view. PokPok is also an options platform, so it's going to be interesting to have them discuss how they see the market. Uh, I think Kevin is here, so I'll give him a couple of minutes, maybe one 10 more seconds to get in. But yeah, I can certainly, I'm happy to have Kevin Apatre join us. This is how we now have some external input here. It's the head of features at PokPok, who's going to help us contextualize the market, talk about how Bitcoin, ETH, the broader markets is behaving. I know that Kevin has a very interesting background, so I'll have him describe his background. But yeah, first of all, welcome, Kevin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on at Panoptic on your live stream. Looking forward to discussing the let's say, the broader aspects of the market, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, the general state of altcoins, maybe, and see where the conversation leads, I guess.
Yeah, of course. And then, and do you mind maybe explaining your background and your role here that you play at PokPok here?
Sure. So I've been working with PokPok for about a year now. I'm working as their head of research, and I lead their PokPok Pulse newsletter. So twice a week we conduct a market analysis, and we essentially try to tailor some trade ideas towards options trading as well. But primarily, I'm a futures trader, so in my mind, I'm considering things in futures terms, I guess, other than the occasional options hedging, I suppose. But yes, we do twice a week analysis and trade ideas for our community.
Because yeah, so the futures trading desks in most of these firms is typically different than the options trading desk. So there is kind of a different point of view, as you say. Your mind is
Yes.
looking at different things when you're futures versus options. So maybe can you give us some like maybe interesting takes that a futures trader may have and options trader may not have, and vice versa, given that you now kind of trading the both world.
Uh, I guess a futures trader is mostly looking at directional trading, right? So you're either long or short, or perhaps you're doing basis trades or stuff like that. That's kind of the extent that things would go. So trading funding rates, that is. Um, but when you're looking at options trading, you're suddenly going into, let's say, a more mathematical approach. So let's say you're considering volatility, you're considering all the Greeks. Maybe not everyone will consider Greeks, but there's certainly other things such as time value. You're no longer just doing directional trades. You're looking at when you want something to happen, and then you're possibly making an even more complex product by, let's say, doing straddles, or as you guys do at Panoptic, maybe you're doing delta neutral trades and stuff like that. So it can get very complex. Whereas with futures trading, it's simply, do you think it's going to go up or down? And maybe you have a stop loss or take profit, right? So um, actually, it was quite good timing for me to join PokPok, since I started getting interested in options trading about it maybe a year ago, and then started working with them. So sounded like good timing. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So I think we have some topics you want to cover, and again, I'll have Rosalie maybe give some intro. But yeah, this is very excited to talk about the markets, how you view the current environments, and what should we do now when we're very close to all time highs. I think you mentioned maybe we'll hit the Bitcoin one during live stream, but yeah, very exciting for
We
everyone.
might do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm really excited. Thank you for coming on our podcast. We were speaking about some altcoins as well. We were looking at Chainlink. So I'm really curious to see kind of your view on altcoins as well. I feel like, I don't know, every time I'm checking, it seems like I'm down. But right now might be a good time that the market's finally fully recovering. So yeah.
My view on altcoins, overall, I mean, I've been in the crypto space for maybe about 7, 8 years now. Let's say in the first few years, most of my activity revolved around altcoins. It's where you get the big gains in theory, right? And the big losses, I must say. But I would say my view on altcoins has tended towards a more cautious approach, especially now because the markets are changing so much, especially with involvement now with the spot ETFs. So it's very difficult to look at market cycles as we saw them a few years ago with, let's say, you having liquidity flowing from Bitcoin into Ethereum and then into altcoins, which sort of makes it super easy to make money on altcoins, right? You just plop some money in when the liquidity is going into alts and then just sell before the crash, I suppose. But now it seems that the current altcoin market is, let's say, more isolated into certain narratives, and liquidity is not always flowing in the same places, right? So, of course, I don't know the price action of every altcoin, but from what I can see, it's as if some core blue chip altcoins from the previous run are not seeing the same.
Unfortunately, okay, yeah. I think Kevin has some issues, but yeah, I agree with what he said because the flow of capital from Bitcoin to ETH to altcoin, maybe people anticipated that, and this is what was played out before over the past few years. I also think that yeah, you need like the altcoin space is like suffering maybe mainly because there's so many opportunities for trading meme coins or perps, or you can have a lot of different ways to speculate in a way that was not necessarily available before. So before you had made a bunch of money in Bitcoin, maybe made some money in ETH. Okay, let me buy the long list of DeFi tokens. But now, whether you make money or not, maybe you go to meme coin first. Maybe you go back to NFTs for a while, where a lot of the money was flowing. But yeah, I do think that the uh, altcoin markets, even now, even it's very bullish for crypto more generally. But if you're a company and you have a token that's not a layer one blockchain, it might be even hard to kind of justify some of that valuation. So a lot of
Yeah,
the yeah, talk
I
about
was
revenues.
I
Yeah.
I was gonna say as well, I think like this is very similar to kind of if you're looking at the wheat market or the oil market. And so when the price of oil, for instance, is really high, it's not actually a good indicator, right? Because that means we're paying more. And I think altcoins do behave a bit similar to those types of markets more.
Yeah, there's less of a clear link between the protocol's performance and the price. Like unique token, you can vote with it. There is a slightly bullish maybe tailwind because they've set up an entity that is regulated in the US, allows them to maybe even capture fees, pay taxes, do a lot of what companies need to do. So this is kind of a bullish outcome, but is it really going to pump it to X? I don't know. Even if there's fees that are generated and captured, we've seen Aerodrome, for instance, that's a big competitor to Uni on Coinbase. They are still printing a lot of their incentives and could be diluting. As you say, if the price goes up, maybe you sell a bit more. So it's always kind of a difficult way to value these tokens. They are so different. Chainlink has some utility. Uniswap has some utility. Could be Aave, could be all of them. They all have different utilities, so it's hard to even build a mental model. One of the spectrum is meme coins have no value, and the other side is Bitcoin and ETH and the layer one tokens have some network value. But yeah, altcoin middle of the ground is actually a bit harder to figure out what their value is sometimes.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of out of the new meme coin markets now. I think with everything that's been happening on Pump.Fun, and there's a lot of different protocols where you can kind of generate any meme coin market. And yeah, I don't know. I just I haven't been keeping up with the new ones. I'm scared. I don't know.
I mean the very scary for sure. Look at the activity. It's a lot of it is bot driven. You snipe the coin after the first block. For a while, Coinbase or Bases was like flooded with these kind of weird sniper bots, and within 2 minutes, sometimes everything is done. So I don't know. Same thing with like Zora does something with like tokenizing posts or tweets or content. So this is also an interesting way, and this is maybe the pendulum swing way to the other side, which is people could not trade. I mean, what looks like a security token, which is almost like DeFi tokens, there's a team behind it. It does something. One side is the Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are decentralized. Nothing can touch them. Other side was meme coins, so people went maybe a bit overboard. Who knows? But yeah, now the I mean, same thing with Uniswap's foundation's new setup could be a bit bullish, make the pendulum swing back. It's good for a protocol like us as well, like Panoptic. We have definitely ways to make it work within the US. We can have ways to make it work for users where we won't be jeopardizing kind of the long term ability for the Panoptic team to innovate. So this is also good for us too, because we're not an LA one, we're not a meme coin platform. We're just allowing these trades to happen. So this is actually a good way to see this.
Definitely. Yeah, like that you were mentioning snipers. That's funny.
Kevin,
My
I think,
friend
is back. Hello,
Oh,
Kevin.
great.
Hello. So sorry about that.
Oh, you
I'm in a
might be
very weird
muted, or yeah, we don't
location.
hear you well.
Oh, let me have a go.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you're muted, but yeah, maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Oh, it's me then. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. Okay, all
It's
good?
me. Oh, yes, all good. Sorry about that. I had a problem also earlier today, and it's my own headphones that I need to fix, and not the whole.
Right,
Yes,
yeah.
sorry about that.
Yes, sorry as well. I'm in Mauritius at the moment, and the connection is not great. Let's just say that.
Mauritius,
But
very interesting.
yeah.
So we've had a collaborator that was based out of that. So I don't know how's the crypto scene in Mauritius. Just you two guys, or there's a little more?
I'm not sure actually. I'm just moving over with my family, so I'm helping them move. So I'm kind of on a holiday here until I go back into the UK. That's where I'm based.
Interesting.
So yeah, but actually I've seen there are a few crypto companies based here. I just haven't had the chance to really look into it, I guess. But
No,
yeah,
interesting.
not bad.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, very cool. So yeah, we're talking about altcoins a little bit, and my view is that the meme coins have been taking a lot of the headspace. Maybe we'll see a switch
Yes.
back to altcoins because they have underperformed for so long. But yeah, what are your thoughts too? I guess that you were starting with earlier.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the big thing at the moment. It's almost as if a lot of the liquidity has been going towards meme coins, and maybe not the projects that you would expect to get the liquidity and the attention. Primarily, let's say the blue chip projects from the past. I think that we've still got a lot of room to move for altcoins towards the end of the year. At the moment, I did have something prepared, but I'm not on my laptop anymore. But if we're looking at the altcoin index on a monthly basis, so that's essentially how many altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin on a trailing month-long basis. We're currently hitting some really high extremes. So I think that while the altcoin market is doing great right now overall, there is some excess leverage in some parts. And the biggest part, you might say, is definitely Ethereum. But we're more looking on a broader basis, let's say the meme coins or the other smaller cap projects. But if we're looking at the general altcoin index, which often is using a 90-day trailing basis, we're actually not even in altcoin season yet. I think last time I checked this morning, it was about a 50 out of 100
Okay.
of the top 100 altcoins which are outperforming Bitcoin, compared to a 30-day basis, which I think was about 90 out of 100, which is actually, we've never really gone above this. It's always ended up in a short-term crash. So in that sense, I think it's important to be wary about that. Yeah.
Interesting. Speaking of Bitcoin, I think we are in the options world. When you look at the price, it tells one story, but there's also volatility. how the options are traded. So any insights into like the price of Bitcoin, but also on the option side of the market?
Yeah, so in terms of volatility, which is something I've covered in the past year on the PokPok newsletter, and I've been paying attention to it. Often, when we have extreme lows or extreme highs in realized volatility, um, there does happen to be like a reversal, a very large reaction in the market, right? Um, of course, volatility doesn't necessarily represent directionality. It just represents sort of how volatile the market is. But looking in the past, just looking here on my chart, since the start of the year, realized volatility has been on a very big downtrend. So there's a few things to consider here. One thing, which is my analysis, which before has accounted for consistent swings in realized volatility. Now we're just kind of going on to a big um, trend of doom for volatility, and it's it's good to think about why this is happening, and what this actually means for the broader scene for Bitcoin. Um, I would say this is particularly because of the institutional investment in Bitcoin, and the ETF flows. And if you look at the flows, we've seen consistent, just a consistent inflows on Bitcoin, very few outflows, right? And that's almost pushing the price higher and higher and sort of reducing those massive retracements. We used to have big 30, 40, 50% retracements. It's not so much the case now, and the moves seem to be smaller in some ways, or at least that's what the volatility metrics are telling us.
So would you be low IV? We always say this is conductive, maybe buying options. In
Yes.
your case, would you be buying puts or calls, or how would you position, or maybe a straddle? How you position yourself?
Um, so in terms of the low IV, it means options are cheaper, right? Generally. Um, so overall, you can um, I would say on a directional basis, looking towards more at the money calls and trying to take those big bottoms, and then maybe get some longer dated calls, 30 to 90 days, which seems to have been a really good approach in the past few months at least. Um, in my analysis, I've been looking at up to 160K for this run's target. I would say much lower than other people's, but I just like to take it one step at a time, let's say. But what I've looked at alongside a directional trade is also because IV is pretty low, you can look at out of the money hedging. So you can do out of the money puts and kind of hedge your portfolio on these potential, let's say 30, 40, let's say, yeah, 30, 40% drops. So it's sort of a the idea if realized volatility or if IV is to increase by a very large amount for whatever reason, or institutions are to start backing out a little bit, then that would really work in your favor. So that's my take on it.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah. It's hard to again. You probably come in with the. I like the 160K target too. We don't. I don't think we'll see a million Bitcoin anytime soon.
No, no, no. Yeah.
It's pure hype. But yeah, no, I do think that there's still some lag. We're not necessarily at the top. I mean, we're the top now, but not the end of the run. But yeah, this is also very. Um,
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm curious what you think about like the current risk and reward setup with ETH outperforming BTC. I don't know if you are interested in any ratio trades or just kind of like view them separately, but happy to hear your thoughts on that.
Uh, Ratio trades as in looking at ETH BTC, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so in terms of doing analysis on Ethereum, I think it's same with how I look at the overall broader total three to Bitcoin market caps to judge altcoins. I judge Ethereum through the ratio against Bitcoin. Um, at the moment, I think it has definitely blown everyone's minds. And every time I try to be cautious, I take a cautious approach. It's almost as if it's up only at the moment for Ethereum, right? And the ETF flows suggest this. Um, Everything kind of suggests this. All the thing in the market is sort of heavily shorted right now, but it's almost as if you've got big institutions just buying every little dip. It's and cutting out all of the shorts. That's sort of the sentiment we're getting. In terms of risk to reward, to answer your question, we're really close to all-time highs. That's one thing. At the moment, judging by the short term, I would say overvaluation of the altcoin market, I would say it's quite low EV, low expected value to long on this top. And I would rather wait for at least, let's say, having those 10-15% drops to actually come in, which they may come in. They might get bought up very fast. So that's your opportunity to enter. Um, but certainly I wouldn't be looking at just longing the market just because the price is going up and it's at all-time highs. I think that's a big mistake to do. Yeah.
So 160K max for Bitcoin. What's your price target for ETH then?
For ETH, okay, let me just pull up my chart, just one moment. I am on the ETH chart right now. Um, let's just see. Okay. Um, my next targets for ETH, which I wouldn't say is the highest target, but this is, let's say, just looking above um, the previous, above the all-time high, would be 5,300 at the moment.
Interesting. So some magic going on with the futures traders mindset. But yeah, you just simply looking at a chart, looking at some level of technical analysis, or how do you make that choice then?
Actually, at the moment, I'm using fib projections. So the problem with ETH at the moment is it hasn't had enough time any consistent large swings in the past few months, since April actually. So judging by the previous swing in price, which happened just a couple days ago actually, the next projections are for 5,250 to 5,300 for Ethereum. In terms of, let's say, what would you say, whether this is maybe too aggressive? I would say it is actually. But if we were to look at a projection based on the December highs for Ethereum from the April lows, we would actually be looking more towards something like $8,000 for Ethereum, which I think is I suppose that's another 70% move. So I would say that's a little bit far-fetched at the moment, but maybe looking into um, maybe sometime next year, we'd have to see that. But that's just because it's such a huge increase, and um, there's gonna have to be a big shift towards altcoins against BTC for that to happen, I think. But who knows? Maybe it'll happen sooner. Maybe it'll blow all of our minds. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, great target. I'm also a bit more cautious because I think a lot of people throwing like 700,000 per bit per ETH. This is like
Yeah.
overly optimistic and maybe even hurts the field a little bit because people may not like take us seriously. But yes, 5 to 8K.
Yeah.
I do think that we can maintain the ratio of Bitcoin like it was over the past year, and then it would also kind of be similar to that range
Yeah.
because we've been on the ETH has been underperforming some reversal. But yeah, no, this is very good. And as you mentioned as well, the volatility is quite low on Bitcoin, but on ETH, actually, it's near it's high, or at least the IV percentile and rank is on the higher end. So that seems there's also a disconnect between the two fields, the markets
Yes.
now.
Yes. That's right. Yeah. When I was comparing the IV, or if you're looking at actual realized volatility, um, Ethereum is still in the ranging extreme, so you can still trade the IV swings for Ethereum, but you can't as much for
There's
Bitcoin.
no more juice.
Despite Ethereum still getting the same massive inflows, maybe not to the same degree, but still getting crazy inflows from
But
institutions.
it's a
So
bit, I think, at least,
um,
I don't know in your case, but if you trade equities, a lot of what we see is that price going up relaxes the IV. You have kind of a lower IV in general when the price going up, and now with ETH also getting a lot of action, but the IV still maintaining quite a high level. Also tells us it's a different regime maybe than just kind of all
mm,
right. Everyone thinks it's going up. There's definitely some back and forth going on. Um, Also,
yeah.
we can feature someone quoted 700K for ETH. We have some receipts, some very well known ETH influencers, but yes, we can certainly. uh, it's oh yeah. If it does go to 700K, we are millionaires because I'm sure most of people that are listening have one or two lying around. But yes, definitely something that look forward to. I mean, we
Yes.
try to keep this within an hour. So any last minute comment or anything that you want to share before we end this collaborative live stream here, Kevin, on your side?
Uh, at the moment, let me actually, I would like to make one comment, maybe regarding the CME open interest for options on Bitcoin primarily. Just looking in the next few months, a lot of the open interest is focused on the call side, out of the money calls, might I say, at 130K, but the largest open interest is sitting at 150K. So it's almost as if the market, I would classify CME traders as more professionals, right?
Pretty smart, yes.
And in the next few months to come up to over 150K, and those are very highly leveraged positions, right? Because they're out of the money, quite a fair amount, maybe 20% or something. So, yeah.
Smart.
Interesting.
Yes, smart money tells us a lot of things on the option side that people that may not know about this layer may not be aware of. But yes, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. But the market thinks something, and they have
No.
a way to express
Yeah.
this. And again, yeah, this is also unique to options. You cannot necessarily
Yes.
say time and price. Two of them together is quite easy to do with options. So this is why I like them so much.
Yes. Yes. It's
Amazing.
awesome.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's late where you are, so we really appreciate that, and we're looking forward to seeing more of your research at PokPok and seeing where the option space in DeFi is going to go. I know it's not always easy for us option traders, but I think it's just the beginning. So
Yes, definitely. Thanks for having me on, everyone. I'm excited maybe to come back and maybe we can have another conversation. And yeah, definitely the option space in crypto is booming right now. So there's lots of things to come for us in the
Perfect. All
future.
right, this was great. Thanks so much, Kevin. Thanks, Rosalie. We'll see. Yeah, Harrington,
Thank you
great
so much.
trades. But yeah, this was it. We'll end the live stream. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you maybe Kevin later when Bitcoin hits 150K. Then you have to come back.
yeah.
But otherwise, you. But yeah, this was great. And then
Yes.
yeah, I'll
Okay.
have a yeah. Thanks everyone, and we'll see each other on Friday. Bye.
Perfect. Cheers. Bye.